What is going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Razor. I'm back with another Outriders WorldSlayer DLC video to be able to bring to you, to be able to let you know all the news and all the massive incoming changes that are going to be coming with the game and the release of the DLC. As always, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe, really just help the channel out. But today we are going to be looking at Apocalypse items. Now, Apocalypse items are going to be the main thing to be able to go out and search for. They really are going to be a game changer, I do feel, and they pretty much encourage every single player, regardless if you're brand new or if you've got like 5,000 hours into the game or whatever you've got, to be able to go out there, to be able to farm, to be able to get some brand new gear, to be able to make your builds. It really does encourage you to be able to go out there and to be able to play this game a lot longer and to be able to get obviously those god rolls stuff all over again. Now, Apocalypse items are very unique in the fact that only epic and legendary items are able to drop as Apocalypse. Now, what that means is that instead of it just being the 2 mods, we are actually getting a 3rd mod on top of this. So this comes from a custom pool of mods. This one cannot be altered in crafting. This one just pretty much drops with the actual gear. So we will be doing some feedback, we'll be doing some findings to be able to find out obviously what this pool actually consists of, but overall my findings are that this 3rd mod actually can be quite nice, and it's more of like a utility side of things. I'd say it allows you to be able to have some of those lesser used mods that kind of got passed by before, because obviously everyone wanted to be able to be a bit more DPS focused, and it just really kind of like allows you to be able to use some of those mods. So what we're going to be looking at is the fact that we've got a different crafting material, and which we'll be getting into very, very shortly, but what this 3rd mod actually could mean for us. So, for example, when I was playing the gameplay, I managed to get a like a chest piece that came as the Containment Overseer's Mantle. I'm picking this up, and you can tell instantly from the fact that it has a skull on the left-hand side that this is Apocalypse gear. Now, obviously, it will also stand out because it seems like it have a bit of a more metallic kind of look to it, to the item card as well. It's definitely more bold, and what this allows you to be able to do, if we have a quick look at the item itself, so it comes with the standard 3 stats of firepower. Oh, obviously this will change because it's an epic but every single time, but this came with firepower, healing received, and cooldown reduction. Now, when it came to the top 2 mods, it came with rapid reaction, reduces the skill's cooldown by 50% for blighted rounds, which we'll be getting into it in a separate video, don't you worry, that hasn't passed me by. And we've also got Perseverance Shield, receive shield whenever our health drops below 30%. So standard stuff so far. Obviously we haven't seen that tier 1 mod before, but we'll be covering that in a separate video. That's not what this video is about. The other mod that's below that, which you obviously have it in the same kind of like metallic kind of look, Save the Feeble, increases the effectiveness of weakness by 20%. So we've seen these mods before. These aren't brand new mods that pretty much appear in this tier 3, well, this 3rd mod slot, but they actually were ones that overall were pretty useful, but just never had a spot in the build, and it just allows us to be able to have like benefit from those additional statuses, or to be able to benefit from those lesser used mods. Now, I think this is going to be a massive plus because, like I said, the fact that we've got a 3rd mod allows us to be able to just kind of like make some different builds. Obviously, this allows it to be able to be a little bit more random because this will actually roll on legendary gear. Now, legendary gear always has those 2 mods that are always set, and the top 3 things as well for the stats are always set as well. So the fact that we can now roll and keep going for the same legendary over and over again because we want to be able to find that perfect 3rd mod slot it just allows us to be able to have that extra additional grind, and I'm really happy and really chuffed with that. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a legendary to be able to drop in the limited playtime that we had on WorldSlayer, so I can't really show you that off how it kind of looks when it comes to legendaries. But what I can show you is for armor, and I can also show you for a weapon. So obviously we've seen this now for the Containment Overseer's Mantle. That's kind of how it looks. I can amend those first 2 mod slots, but when it comes to a weapon side of things, so if we have a look at the weapon side of things, now this is pretty much exactly the same. Now, obviously, you can see on the item card we have the skull on the left-hand side. It has a very more metallic, kind of bold kind of look to it. You can see on the inventory screen, you can tell the difference between a standard epic and an Apocalypse one. So it's very easy to be able to know which ones that you're actually looking for and which ones to be able to grind for. So when it comes to a weapon, we do have obviously additional weapon mods to be able to pick up from for that 3rd mod slot. So for example, with these pistols, we've got vulnerability bullets, we've got anomaly enhancement, nothing different, nothing out of the ordinary there, but we do have Snow Squall as the third mod slot. Now, Snow Squall got a lot of use back in the original game, definitely by myself and other members of the community for one-shot rifles. Being able to use Snow Squall and Grand Opening to be able to, there's some kind of interaction there, caused the Snow Squall to trigger before Grand Opening triggered, which means that on Borealis kind of build, you are able to hit Grand Openings for up to like 900k, 1 mil. So the fact that we can now have an additional mod to be able to slot onto one of those guns that can really help increase that damage even more, I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I think this will probably be the way we can actually use things like, for example, if we had the Molten Idola and you know, things like that. Some of the other damaging mods, I think it will actually go quite nicely on a one-shot rifle. I'm really looking forward to that. Now, the other thing that you need to notice when it comes to Apocalypse Gear, now I don't know if this is true just because it is Apocalypse Gear, but the fact that it just seems too much of a coincidence for it not to be is the fact that obviously we have the way to be able to determine whether it's a standard epic or whether it's Apocalypse Gear. Now, the Apocalypse Gear will not be dropping if you do not own the DLC of WorldSlayer, so therefore the fact that I've managed to get this gun, which is the Polar Krug C, and this is Apocalypse and comes with Striga, where we do 15% of critical damage is returned as health, so that's quite a nice mod to be able to keep us in the fight. And the fact that it has this skin on it, which we've never seen before in Outriders, means that we're going to be seeing new weapon looks, kind of like customizations as well, means that we're actually going to get some new gear drop purely as Apocalypse Gear dedicated drops. So I'm very excited to be able to see what else we're going to be seeing. I have seen pistols that have very similar kind of look to them to this, but they're more in red, and you've probably seen the image of them as well, because if I remember right, the kind of like the information, like the slideshow things that come up, the tutorials in a way that come up to be able to tell you about like crafting and all that kind of thing. One of them has an image to do with the pistols, and we've never seen the pistols actually released in the full game, but there's some very similar, if not the exact same ones in this game. I have seen them, and you definitely will have to pay close attention to the trailer to be able to keep an eye out for those. So overall, Apocalypse Gear is definitely going to be worth the grind, and it's going to make you want to farm this game even more. I think this really helps out with the end game, because obviously as soon as you get an epic, that's it. You've had that random drop, you've had that epic, but now we have a reason to be able to go out and farm, because we can only change one mod on a 3 mod gear, and obviously it comes from a dedicated pool, so we have to get lucky with that as well. And so I do think that this kind of like helps out, and it alleviates the pressure with the limited end game that the original game of Outriders actually did come with, so this will definitely help out in the long run. I would recommend that obviously you pretty much replace everything in your current builds, whether you're playing as current endgame or whether you've just started out. You definitely want to be grabbing some Apocalypse Gear to be able to help you out in those throughout the whole of the DLC, whether it be for endgame, whether it be for story. Basically, as soon as you see an Apocalypse Gear item get dropped, you'll definitely be wanting to run it over and get that picked up. So that's just a quick overview as to what Apocalypse Gear looks like, how it kind of like helps out, and basically what makes it so niche. Obviously, overall, it is very good, and I am looking forward to being able to refit or re-kit my whole build to be able to make sure and benefit from all of this Apocalypse Gear. And yeah, it's definitely going to make some top-notch builds. I'm really sure of that. So I hope you've learned something with ourselves, and I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of the video. Thank you all to the Babylonian family, as always, for their continued support. And that just leaves me to say, keep yourselves safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.